Welcome to the first video in the Compacted 2 Single Variable Equations, Unit 1A, Expressions and Equations. I'm on page 2, and you can see that it says equations with variables on both sides. This you can find in the 7th grade series of our textbook, 7th grade series, Chapter 4, Section 2. This is a review, and so let's go through this. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. You can pause the video if you need to read this over and follow the steps. So step number 1 says get rid of the parentheses if there are parentheses. So distribute first. Step number 2, combine like terms. So move the smaller variable from one side to the other. Move the smaller variable, step 3. To the side with the larger variable coefficient. This usually keeps that coefficient positive, and therefore we don't have to deal with negatives. Undo any adding or subtracting next, and then undo multiplication or division. So we're basically doing our, what most people would call PEMDAS. That's arithmetic. I call it GERMDAS or GERMDAS. So I say GERMDAS. And that's adding and subtracting. We do this in reverse. Multiplying and dividing. When we're solving equations, we do it in reverse. Adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing. Roots and exponents. And G stands for grouping symbols like parentheses, hard brackets, the fraction line, and the absolute value symbol. Those are all grouping symbols. So we have to add on to our PEMDAS and put in all those grouping symbols. So you'll hear me say GERMDAS or GERMDAS. So example number 1 done here for you. The smaller variable is the 3x. You should cancel on both sides. Subtracting the 3x, then adding the 11 and dividing by 4, you get x equals 4. Beautiful check shown here. You should always do that to make sure that your answer is correct. Example number 2. So distributing 4 times that 5n is 20n, 4 times that negative 5, right? Because we look left of numbers. So 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Minus 8 equals 7n plus 2 plus 3n. So combine like terms. We've got a 7n and a 3n on the right-hand side, and on the left, we have negative 20 and negative 8 that we can combine. So you can see they've done that. 10n is the smaller variable. Subtract 10n from both sides. Adding 28 to both sides, because we're looking at adding and subtracting next. Then taking care of multiplication and division, dividing by 10. N equals 3. Beautiful check process, writing the word check. Rewrite the original problem. Replace the variable step. Do all of your computation. Now you are following the order of operations, so watch your correct order there. And then getting that 32 equals 32, yippee, correct answer. So I'm going to model that on the next page. So on to the next page. It says a little mental math here. Solve the equation. 1, 2, 3, 4 n's on the left, 3 n's on the right. So 4 n's has to equal 3n plus 10. So if I take away 3 n's on both sides, I must get that n equals 10, right? Because 4 10's on the left would give me 40, and 3 10's plus another 10 would give me 10. Okay, that works. Number 2, well, I have k plus some number equals 12. If I subtract k, mental math, I'm doing it in my head from both sides, I get 2 k's is 12, so k must equal 6. And putting it back in, 6 plus 12 is 18, and 3 times 6 is 18. 5x plus 7 equals 6x. Well, if you subtract 5x's from both sides, you get x equals 7, or 7 equals x. You should keep that 7 on the left and the x on the right. Number 4, subtracting 5m's from both sides, you get 3m is 12, so m must equal 4. And 8 times 4 is 32, 5 times 4 is 20, plus 12 is 32. It works. 3 p's, subtracting those from each side, you get negative 9 equals p. And yes, the p is on the right. Keep it there on the right. Number 7, oh, 6 and 7, now it says solve and check. So we're actually going to show all the steps here. So again, I'm going to subtract the smaller variable, subtracting 3k's from both sides, and I get 16 is equal to 2k's. Dividing by 2 on both sides, I get 8 equals k. I'm going to do a mental check. 3 times 8 is 24 plus 16 is 40. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 equals 40. Yippee, right answer. Number 7 is a distributing problem. 2 times x. And again, if I'm going too quickly for you, please feel free to pause the video, stop the video, replay the video, but do not advance the video and not listen to it, because sometimes I say, oh, I'm going to leave this one for you to do on your own, and I'm going to check that in class tomorrow. And if you're just fast forwarding the video, you're going to miss some of my hints and tips. And therefore, the next day, I'm going to look at your packet and say, oh, I said in the video to do this one. How come you didn't do it? Well, that's because you didn't listen to the video, and I'm not going to give you full credit for not listening to the video. So you'll only get a 50% for that assignment. So please make sure that you're listening to each part of the video. Do not fast forward me. You can pause and replay. No fast forwarding allowed. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14 equals 3x. So I distributed first. Subtract the smaller variable, so minus 2x. So I'm moving that, doing the opposite, the inverse is subtraction. I get negative 14 equals x. Putting that back in, negative 14 minus 7 more is negative 21. 2 times negative 21 is negative 42, and 3 times negative 14 is negative 42. Yippee, right answer. Notice I'm checking all of them. We have a double distributing problem here. So 9 times m, 9m. Yes, I do draw these little arrows. 9 times 2 is 18. Equals negative 6 times m, negative 6m's. Negative 6 times positive 7, negative 42. Let's watch our negatives. Negative 6m is the smaller one, so I'm going to add 6m's to both sides. And you're probably remembering all of these skills that we're practicing here. 15m plus 18 must equal negative, watch that sign there, negative 42. I'm going to subtract 18 on both sides. And yes, I always like to show my cancel steps. And I get 15m equals negative 42 and negative 18. Same signs, add and keep, add and keep. So I'm going to get 60 and keep that sign, negative, add and keep. So divide by 15. I get m equals negative 4. Putting negative 4 back into that problem. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. I would get on the left. Negative 4 plus 7 would be negative 3. Negative 6 times negative 3 is positive 18. Huh? What did I do wrong here? Negative 4 plus 7. Oh, it's positive 3. Silly me. Negative 6 times positive 3, negative 18. Whoops. Yeah, you get negative 18. Okay, had to check that check. It didn't seem like it was working. Number 9, I'm going to distribute that too. 2 times y, 2y. 2 times negative 5, negative 10. Bring down this front y, don't forget that, equals 2y plus 2. I'm going to combine my y plus 2y on the left to get 3y minus 10 equals 2y plus 2. I'm going to subtract 2 y's, move the smaller variable, at step 2, or step 3 rather, and I get y minus 10 equals 2. Adding 10 to both sides, the inverse operation. We get y equals 12. Okay, let's make sure 12 is the answer. Now I'm going to check this. Okay, so I get 2 times 12 minus 5 is 7. That's 2 times 7. 7 is 14 plus 12 is 26. And 2 times 12 is 24 plus 2 is 26. Yippee, right answer. Number 10. Smaller x is negative 9x, so I'm going to inverse that and add 9x to both sides. Cancel, and I get 7 equals 12x plus 19. I'm going to subtract 19 on both sides. And I get negative 12 equals 12x. Well, dividing by 12, I'm going to get negative 1 equals x. So negative 1 times negative 9 is 9. 9 plus 7 is 16. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3 plus 19 is 16. 16 equals 16. On to number 11. In fact, I'm going to leave number 11 for you to do. And we'll go over this one in class tomorrow.